Hello, hello, and welcome to the first episode in a new series, a new season of the podcast. This is the Beside Leaders podcast, where I take the opportunity to walk beside leaders and people who are also walking beside leaders. And today I have the most exquisite guest, someone who I think I've only known a very short while, but immediately we feel like we've known each other a lifetime.
Yeah.
And that is the beautiful Kaye Doran. Welcome.
Thank you, AJ. I'm so excited to be here and your first guest.
My first guest on my new potty. I have been podcasting for years, but this is a brand new season, a brand new style of show where really we want to take the time to go a bit deeper. So rather than 20 or 30-minute episodes, we really want to take time and just kind of marinate and really be present with our guests. And so I'm really excited to bring to you this beautiful woman, Kaye Doran. She's come across the countryside from WA over here to New South Wales. We have spent the day walking country. I've introduced her to the land here, and we're really getting to sink in and just feel a bit more of where we might even go today with the conversation. And so Kaye, for those of you who've never met her before, you can check her out online at kayedoran.com. She is a shamanic leadership coach. Now, Kaye, let's just start there.
People are going a shamanic. What?
People are going leadership and shaman in the same sentence.
Yeah.
What is a shamanic leadership coach?
So first, let's address the shamanic aspect.
Okay, right? Great.
Some people will go, oh, yeah. And others will go, have no idea what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So most people associate a shaman with, like, the Native American medicine man, that kind of thing. But shamans are male and female and exist all across the globe.
Right, great.
Right, so they're a bit like the wisdom keepers.
In many cultures.
In many cultures, right. many cultures. And the shaman basically is like the bridge. Mm-hmm. So the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the physical, the spiritual, and energetic. Mm-hmm. And so I'm able to traverse both.
Yeah.
And I'm very aware of energy. I'm very aware of the world of energy and spirit and connection to earth. So shamanism is very much about a deep connection to earth and to all things, all people.
Wow.
It's all one.
Yes.
Right? And then how does that unseen world, which I call the inner world because it exists within us, as science says, the universe now exists within us.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore we exist within the universe. And then where does leadership come in? Leadership comes in because we're all wanting to know how to lead ourselves, but from the inside out. So the inner world, that unseen world, is where we gain wisdom, insight, what many call sort of the intuition, but I call that inner voice of knowing, that certainty that we have. And we all have an inner voice of knowing because we all hear the inner critic. Everyone talks about the inner critic, right?
Yes.
Well, there's that other voice when we calm the critic, when we're tapping into that inner peace, that we all have that wisdom, just that sudden insight that comes, that voice that doesn't always make sense in one way because it goes, do this,
right,
go here.
I love that distinction straight away because a lot of people will say, I don't have intuition, or how do I know? So I love that you share the inner critic and that's that same voice, because then we go, oh, I've heard that one.
Yes, and if that exists, let's look at the
I've heard
positive,
it before.
negative,
Right.
as above, so below. So why wouldn't we have the opposite of the critic and have the wisdom keeper, the wise one, the voice of knowing?
Right.
And the reason, AJ, that I call it the voice of knowing is because I've had it all my life. It's been very loud, very clear. It sounds like my voice, but it does not speak to me the way that I speak.
Right.
Right? And everybody has it. It's just that I've been born with it, and it's been very, very loud all of my life. And it's like a teacher, it's like a guide, it's, it's to me, intuition which energetically even sounds ethereal.
Yes.
And how can I trust it, is sort of like the child aspect, the youthful aspect of it, right?
Yes.
And then the full-blown expression of it,
the inner knowing,
is the knowing. And even when you go an inner voice of knowing, it's like a stake in the ground statement, like, isn't it? Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the way I say to people is, it's like, you know, when you get in the car and you put your GPS on and you're driving along, and the GPS says 200 meters, turn left. We don't sit there and go, are you sure? Are you sure I have to go left? We just sit back and we trust it.
And we go, okay, I'm going there. I've got my blinker on.
Yeah, I'm going there. You know, that's why we use it, right? Because we don't use the maps anymore and map it out.
Yeah.
We use that technology. Well, this is an unseen technology, if you want to call it that, but it's the same thing.
Right.
It knows where we're meant to go. It knows how to get there.
Wow.
Right? Beyond our common sense and conscious sort of, you know, that's not logical.
Yes.
It's not meant to be logical.
Right.
Right?
So that's why we question it.
That's why we question it. Because we've got all these stories that I call false stories and false beliefs, right? And we want to follow the herd, don't we? So it's like, stay in action, map it out, plan it, you know, do it all, strategize. And all of that has a place, but it's missing the other half of the component, which is the being.
Tell us more about that.
Well, the doing and the striving is like a masculine energy. I'm not talking man and woman. Yeah. Talking like a masculine
the busy
energy.
do, achieve.
The energy in action.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
But then there's that womb element, which is where the new life is growing. It is developing, right? And we nurture and we protect it. So when we take the time for the being, which is that feminine energy, so we go within. If you look at the word being, it's be in.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that where we take that time to perhaps meditate, perhaps do yoga, go for the walks along the beach, immerse ourselves in nature, like what we've done today.
Right.
Gratitudes, which feed the brain and grow those neural pathways, and sing, dance.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Move.
Open to that.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're then bringing a harmonious relationship between the feminine energy, and then it's like we gain that insight, that inspiration, that sense of direction. And then we go into the masculine and go, now we have to move. We don't sit on the couch and go, hey, it's going to happen. It's like, have to start that podcast. What do I need to do to start that podcast? I have to write a book. What do I need to strategize to put into place? So
then acting on the knowing.
Yes, acting on the knowing.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Drive the car.
Yeah.
You can't just sit in the car.
There and go, okay, I've put my sat nav in.
Yeah.
Why aren't we moving?
Yeah, Google, get me to here. And Google's not going to respond because it's like, you're not moving.
Yeah. Start the engine.
Yeah. Yeah. Start the engine.
Yeah.
And there's the masculine we can start to make sense of, right? I know that I can control the fact that I'm going to map this out. I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to take these steps. But the other energy is the one that says, this course is right for you now. Ooh. Here's your opportunity. Yeah. Or whatever it might be.
The door's open.
Do it now.
Right.
And then the logical brain goes, but I don't have the money. It's not the right time.
Right.
All the excuses come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when we trust that knowing, and we'll know it because it's like a whole-bodied knowing.
Yes.
Signs will start to come in, like those synchronicities. Things will make sense.
You're like, oh, I was just thinking about that, and there's a sign.
Yeah. And you feel it. Like you don't think it. You sort of feel it.
Goosebumps.
Emerging from within, goosebumps. Someone comes in and says something. I had an example where I was talking about some work I wanted to do with someone one day. The very next day I had a message from that person.
Right. There you go.
Presenting an opportunity.
And you're like,
now I could go, but that's not the right time. But hold on a moment. I was saying, the night before,
I want to work with them.
Then this person's like, you're on my mind. we only offer these discounted opportunities to 2 people at this time of the year.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so I have to leap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because it's my knowing. My GPS is saying, go in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's not till you've committed, till you've taken those actions, till you've done what feels like that big leap, right, that then everything starts, you start to see the pieces of a puzzle. Like one of my grandsons is amazing. He just goes, that piece goes there, that piece goes there.
He sees it.
But he puts the first piece down.
Right.
And he just sees it. I'm just seeing scattered pieces
all
over the table.
Lots of 100,000 pieces.
But slowly the picture comes to form. So when you say, okay, I'm going to listen to that knowing, because it knows the big picture.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take that action and I'm going to make that commitment. And there's a bit of fear with it, which is basically saying, you're heading in the right direction. But you're going to have to grow.
Right.
You're going to have to grow into
so that's what the fear is.
That's what the fear is.
Are you ready? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you committed?
Yeah. So fear is my friend. I have a process to defuse those fears. But when fear shows up at that moment and you've got that knowing and you make that commitment, you sign that contract, whatever it might be, and then you're like,
it's a growth moment.
What have I done? What have I done? And then you go, hello, old friend. Right. I'm going to have to grow into the end result of this that I was aspiring to, that's called me.
Wow. I love that. Even just that line, fear is my friend. Everyone repeat that to yourself. Fear is my friend.
Yeah. And we can defuse it by listening to it.
Right. Where is it?
People go, oh, just lean in and do it anyway. I don't know about you, but the weight of that fear, I don't want to be dragging behind me.
I'm not leaning into any of that.
Yeah. And everything has a right to be heard and validated, but not, hey, yes, I'm going to
marinate in that for a long time.
Yeah. So there's a very quick process where I just go, these are my fears, they're not my truth. And then I just write them all out. I just name them all out. Like, just
these are my fears, they're not my truth.
Yeah. And then I do the heading of, these were my fears, they're no longer my truth.
Oh, nice.
And then I write the complete opposites, which is like the outcomes. And then I go, this is my truth.
This is my truth.
So I've heard the fears, I've named the fears, so there I'm diffusing them. Because if you've been heard, but someone doesn't agree with you, it doesn't matter, does it?
No, it's still, I just want to express that and feel seen, heard, validated.
And thanks, AJ, for sharing that. Yeah. Do you know, that's just that kind of thing. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
But you know what?
We're still going to do this.
I'm going with it.
Yeah. But rather than be dismissed.
You can't suppress it because, you know, you can only cram so much into a certain space.
Going up.
Yep. You don't want to be dragging it with you.
Yeah.
Because the voice will get louder and louder until it's validated, until it's heard.
Well, and that's certainly something I see a lot with leaders, that they're trying to set sail somewhere new. And I always think of it like a yacht, you know, they're trying to set sail. And I'm like, you've still got your mooring tied.
Untether yourself.
Like, and they're like, I can't get enough wind. I can't get enough steam. And it's like, I'm being held back by myself.
Absolutely.
Or by my story.
That in itself creates a stress.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're dragging that behind you while you're striving and moving towards whatever it is that you want. And what people don't realise and what leaders don't realise is we're not only in the life of a business. Yeah. We're also in the business of life.
Yeah, totally.
So the same rules apply in terms of
the business
maximizing our potential and utilizing that full potential by bringing the harmony between,
which is kind of being your own human resource.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to pause there for a minute for people who are watching, listening later, and reverse back a little bit, and then we'll forward engineer. But I want to back up because right at the start, when we first started a shamanic leadership coach, and people are going to go, hang on a minute, and is that woo-woo, is it not, or whatever it is. And you said you've heard that inner voice of knowing since you were young.
Since I can remember.
So can you just explain to us or share how did you hear that voice as a child? How did you know to trust it? Because a lot of people will say, I used to see things as a child, but then I learned to shut it down, or I went to school and, you know, you didn't say those things anymore. So how did you learn to trust and believe that voice? And how did you hold on to that into your adulthood?
Yeah, look, and you said it, as a child, we're open, right? So a lot of children will go, you know, I've got this friend, or we're trusting
invisible
ourselves.
Friend.
When you're really young, you're still connected to that unseen world. You watch, I've got 9 grandchildren. You watch them they play. Wow. It's like their imagination.
Yeah.
They don't care what people think.
Right.
They're doing silly dances. Do you know what I mean? They're just part of the world in such a connected way.
And they're not like,
and that's not a woo-woo thing. You just watch young children, and that's what they're doing.
They create all the time.
It's because of the adults, in a sense, and then their perception of certain experiences, you know, and as they get older, they become more aware of self, and then they want that self-acceptance from the external world, right?
And so I don't want to be too different to everyone else, because I mightn't be accepted.
The parents might just go, oh, that's just make-believe, darling.
Right.
Do you not they'll negate what we know?
Yes.
Right? Let's get real. You know, those kinds of comments. But for me,
that's just fairy tales.
That's just fairy tales. Yeah. But for me, the voice was so loud within me. And I knew it was connected to me, but separate from me. Because like I said, it would sound like me inside of myself, but it would not speak to me
the same way
that I would speak.
In the language or the way it spoke to you?
Sometimes it would be like, Kaye, stop.
Right.
If you do that, and it would be teaching me. So when I was young and I would try to communicate with my mother and I would get shut down, I'd walk away, and in a quiet moment, you know, that in a moment, I'd go back to my room and I'd sit there, and it would be saying, your mother can't respond to you because of this, this, and this.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So it was like an educator as well. Or when I became a teenager and friends would go, let's sneak out of the house tonight. And I'd be sitting there. One, I would have preferred to have gone to sleep, but, you know, as the kid, you want to fit in.
Yeah. Right? You want to be accepted by the group.
But it would speak to me in what sounded like my voice, and it would say, if you do this and play with the drugs they're going to play with, this will take you off your path of why you're here, because you're a highly addictive person.
Right.
I'm like 13.
Yeah, right. But you've got that addictive personality, and it was warning you.
But I never thought of myself as an addictive personality.
Right.
Right. So it was saying, this, you are an addictive personality. This will take you off the course of why you chose to be here.
And did you still go?
No.
Wow. So you'd already learnt to trust and know.
Yeah.
Now that's powerful.
That doesn't mean
you didn't
that I ignored it sometimes. But what it did do is, as a younger child, as a younger girl, I just, you don't question it, because it just feels like a natural part, right, of who we are, or who I was, dancing with energy, feeling other people. You know, I remember in primary school sitting with a little Japanese girl, and I just knew what she was feeling and going through, so I was able to communicate with her. I didn't question that.
Right.
Until we get on the cusp of becoming like the teenager. And then people knew I was different.
Right.
I knew I was different. I would try to fit in, but I would never fit in.
Right.
So then you join the drinking crew.
Because you were trying to force something that wasn't you.
Yeah. And girls would turn on me, and I had just had this thing inside of me of, can't we all be friends?
Right.
Like, I just wanted to love. I wanted to, because I felt we were all connected.
And so were they afraid of what you saw, or, you know, what?
We have subtle understanding of one another. Subtle, like we're sitting here now, science has now backed this up. right? That we have a magnetic field that comes out. So mine's overlapping yours, yours is overlapping mine. Not woo-woo. Science has now spoken about
and our
this
heart radius is out here.
Our heart radius. And when we're actually in that alignment, which is what happens when you've got that sort of that inner being with the external doing, then it actually will expand out about a metre. And that's all they've been able to measure. I would say it goes further than that.
I've heard of research where they tested monks, Tibetan monks who had meditated their whole lives, and they were able to measure their heart radiance even further. And they said just because of their volume of meditation and their heart-brain connection that they had this huge impact. And they said when they meditate, they actually impact on the village around them.
Absolutely. That's where they talk also about the power of prayer. Is it the prayer itself, or is it the intention and the energy,
and then the heart radius
coming from love, connection that radiates out and that influences you, and then you're influencing somebody else? And have you ever been slightly irritated or something, or you've had a really busy day, and then you come in and you're around someone and they're calm, and suddenly you just start to feel, or the opposite, you feel really good, you feel really chilled, and then you come into the presence of someone that's sort of agitated and stressed, and suddenly you're all agitated and you go, I felt it's them because of them.
I have a beautiful Danish friend, Charlotte, and she's a mindfulness practitioner and teacher. And I know every time I sit with her, I feel like waves of, and it actually is so visceral that it reminds me of when my dad used to brush my hair as a child. Like it's that soothing, and I'm like, I'm just going to sit in a Charlotte bath. So hello to you, Charlotte, if ever you listen to this. But she just has this beautiful calming effect.
And that's due to the frequency, the energetic frequency in terms of hertz that can be measured, that we put ourselves into that state.
Because she's so practiced and so present in the now.
And I have people that I work with, and they're, I work also with a lot of entrepreneurs, and they'll come in and they go, oh my God, it's so great to see you, Kaye. I just need a bit of you. And I'm like, no, it's not me that you need, but it's that calm. And then teaching,
because then they can touch into their own, right?
Because they tap back into their own. But the thing is, for leadership, we want to learn and know how to sustain that and maintain that for ourselves, for our own well-being within our professional and personal lives. But then, so as leaders, we can influence the teams, the people around us.
And so that's where I'd love to go. And this podcast is Beside Leaders, because in our business, Beside Leaders, we walk beside leaders every day. And more we're seeing like Gallup research showing only 1 in 5 staff or employees are engaged. All of the leaders that I coach all say they're wearing a heavy burden of responsibility, and, I have to do all these things, and I've got legislation and KPIs to meet. And somewhere in there is this responsibility, but also for leaders, they seem to think that if I'm frenetic, it doesn't matter, that's not going to impact my staff. But more and more I see the result of a leader's energy actually bleeding in, almost, I say, and impacting their staff. And so there's almost a responsibility, if I'm a leader, that I have to take care of my own energetics first, because then,
well, you're the greatest influence, because others are looking to you.
Absolutely. So tell us a bit about how you work with leaders, or how you help them with that energy of frequency so they can show up and serve or be present.
And the first thing I want to say, AJ, is it really concerns me that so many leaders, and as you would know, are feeling that burden of feeling that way.
Incredibly.
Because when we're unregulated, right, there's a disconnect that's happening internally. People will call that the nervous system. The fact that they're feeling that burden means they've been living with a dysregulated nervous system for so long that seems normal, until it becomes that massive
chronic
burden, chronic.
Yeah.
So
which is how we see burnout, right?
Yes.
That often it's 20 years of this before something goes kaput.
How many marriages and families have broken up because it's carried with you into every area of
That's
your
right.
life.
We take our whole self to work.
We take our whole self to work, and then you carry that coming back. I mean, I can remember as a child, and my father had massive responsibilities in newspapers, right? He would be a completely different person when we went on a holiday. Yeah. But it would take him a good week
to come down from that.
Before he was what I would term as open and fun. And
regulated.
And regulated. Because we'd be by the ocean.
And available.
Out on land, right? Not in concrete buildings. And so I would feel that shift in him. He was like a completely different person.
And so what about
home, I couldn't go near him.
Oh wow.
Because
when he was in work mode and
he'd been in work, and then me, who's so tactile and daddy, and it jarred him. And I now understand when I've been incredibly busy and working with a lot of people, my energy expands, and I too then have that sensitivity.
Right, where it's like,
so I now understand what was going on with my father, and it's like I need time
to decompress
and to get my system, make sure that I'm really aligned.
Yeah.
Before I can have that come into my personal space, right? But my dad didn't understand that then. We didn't understand that.
Yeah, we didn't have language for it.
And so part of the work that I feel both of us are doing is to teach them how to re-regulate, to become that frequency that is calm, that is connected. Because when we're dysregulated, think of a wiring system, it's broken.
Yep.
Right? So no amount of thinking your way through it will plug you back in.
Right. Because it's just going to keep misfiring because there's not a connection.
Because the nervous system is shot.
Yeah.
Is probably the best way to say it. So what a lot of leaders are doing is then they're still thinking, they're still strategizing, but it's actually creating more and more burden.
Right. And friction and force, probably the amount of stuff coming to that one broken point then.
Yes.
And then that's when it shows up, right? What we see is illness.
Yes.
Disease.
The body will eventually.
We actually see with a lot of people chronic inflammations and all of those kind of autoimmune diseases or heart issues.
Well, I know we've both heard of people that go, I've been hospitalised. I had a major breakdown.
Absolutely.
Or the health conditions that happen. And, heart attacks, strokes.
And I'm thinking about, there's new legislation here in Australia, depending on where you're listening around the world, but around psychosocial safety and the responsibility of leaders to ensure a psychologically safe workplace.
Yeah.
That's actually a huge burden as well if people don't have the tools to do it for themselves.
Yes.
So how do you, as a shamanic leadership coach, how do you work with a leader and help them get back to a sense of regulation? And especially as you were saying, for 10 or 20 years, they haven't, and they feel like this is my normal.
Yeah.
How do you work with them? Tell us a bit about how is a shaman different to going to a psychologist or a talk kind of person?
Yeah, great question. And part of the thing is we learn a lot of concepts and we do a lot of talking around concepts. But the concepts aren't going to actually create the change because primarily it's our subconscious that's ruling. We can go into percentages and things like that. But
it's the dog and we're the tail.
Yeah. So primarily we're being driven by those subconscious stories, beliefs, in the way that we think, in the way that we feel, in the way that we respond, in the actions that we take. And I always say to people, that's unnerving because it means we're in the passenger seat, subconscious is driving, right? So it's about the education first and how do we access what's taking place, these what I term false stories and beliefs that are in the driver's seat. Because we need to unmask those. Once you bring it into your awareness, what that underlying pattern in how you think, how you respond, what you believe, actions that you take, when you bring it into your awareness, you've got choice.
Right.
And the choice is to change.
Because now it's in front of me and
now
I can see it and name it.
Oh my God, this is what's been driving this behavior, right? Then it's also about understanding that we are actually also energetic beings.
Right.
Scientifically proven, no longer considered just a woo-woo, right? And thinking
however, there would be a lot of leaders that are going, whoa.
Yeah. Or you could go, okay, let's not worry about and talk about anything in terms of an energetic system. Although these leaders that are in burnout, how much energy do you have?
Yeah, that's right. Their battery's already on zero.
Yeah.
It's like, plug me in.
Yeah. But so we can talk about it then in terms of how do we replace those outdated programs?
I like that.
Right? Like the computers become infected.
Yeah.
Or we need an upgrade.
We've got a virus or it's just
we've got a virus.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the virus.
Yeah.
And let's
we're still using WordPerfect.
And let's update the system. So we can change the language. And as a shaman, it's my responsibility to energetically tune in and I know a language that will suit you.
Right.
Great. So I'm going to meet you where you're at and I'm going to speak around something maybe 4 or 5 different ways because that will build
and then
trust.
See where that lands for people and then go there.
Yes. So I will drop in energy, but I won't stop there. Right? Then we'll come at it from this way. Then we'll come at it from this way. Then we'll come at it from this way. So what you're doing is you're also elevating them slightly to look, because we get a better view, don't we, when we climb up the ladder?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? So if I stand in my backyard, all I can see are the plants and the bench seat and the fencing. And, you know, when I stand up on that bench seat, I can see the trees, I can see a bit of the neighbours. Like when I climb up the ladder, I've got a view of the street, right? So coming at the same thing with different descriptors, but you're saying the same thing, even in the brain,
but you're kind of notching them up.
And you're kind of notching them up, and then they're like, like it lands.
Yeah, I'm getting somewhere with it.
I'm getting somewhere with it, rather than just saying it this way, saying it this way, saying it this way. Why aren't you getting it? Right? So we're speaking multiple languages saying the same thing in a way, and we're also painting a picture because metaphors are great.
Which also
like
then
computer.
Does that mean you're working on the unconscious as well as the conscious?
On the unconscious,
as in it's picking up the thread and the clues and piecing it together as well.
And you've nailed it there, right? Because when we're working in this way, and when I'm working in this way with energy, because I'm working with the energy of the mind, the energy of the body, the energy of the system, right? It's a little bit like we can sit here now, we're doing a podcast on Zoom.
Yeah.
We just press play, record.
Hello.
Here we are. Pretty simple, right? But we actually know what's going on in the background has a whole lot more complexity to it.
Right.
So when we can present something in these multiple ways, but it's quite simple, and we're talking about computers and viruses and updating a system or a wiring system or different ways of saying things or growing neural pathways, right? But underneath, there's a whole complexity of what we're addressing through the spoken word, through the communication.
That the conscious mind can grasp onto and go, okay, I'm hearing that.
Yes.
But meanwhile, all the other cogs are turning.
Yeah.
And picking up.
Have you ever seen an electrician come in to update a wiring system? It's not just bang, done, see you later.
Yeah, true.
It's this wire.
We've got puppies. We've got puppies everywhere. We've got one in the background here.
This wire needs to be upgraded and go here, and this wire needs to be replacing and it goes in here, and this wire, do you know what I mean? And then you've got the system happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
Right. And so it's not just like one tap in, it's lots of different parts.
Yes. Yeah. Until they meet the what's the word, that moment where you're at the, you know, the what's the word, I've gone blank on it.
That's because of the dogs. They just cut in their interference with the energy.
And I sit in here padding, so my focus is going. You know, when you get to that point where the 2 points meet. Right. So that inner and that outer, the brain and the feeling, the head, you know, the brain that's actually the meta brain that's in the heart. But you get to that point where you're standing between the two, you've connected the two.
Right. It's like you're like,
yeah, and we call that a aha moment. Like,
you would see
that with the leaders you work with, and you're like,
and you would see that with the entrepreneurs. And I hear a lot of coaches, rightly or wrongly, saying they live for that. They love that aha in a client. Where you see someone go, oh, I get it.
Yes. Yeah. And from there, then they're making different choices.
Right.
And we're guiding what some of those choices might be, but you've got to give them the fruit salad bowl.
Okay.
If I've got every day and all I'm allowed is the banana, I'm going to get really bored of the banana. Right.
So I'm going to
stop eating the bananas. If I go, or in the toolbox, this tool's great.
Yeah, I've only got a hammer.
Now I need to use a spanner.
Yeah.
Right? So if we only give one option, that's not going to sustain the change.
Right.
So if you say, okay, here's something that's quick and simple, and it needs to be simple. Right. So I have clients say to me, God, Kaye, that's simple. But when they're applying it, they come back going, it's so profound.
Right. Just this one little thing.
This one little thing, but it does this, and this.
Right.
Try it. Seems too simple. I can make it complex if you want it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because your busy brain goes, it's got to be like, harder than that.
You can bring leaders out here on this land here. And just the presence of being on the land starts to create a change. You've taken them out of the four walls,
Absolutely.
the concrete, right? They're sitting there with trees, the earth.
They hear the birds, they smell the gum.
They smell the birds, smell the birds, smell the
Maybe
trees.
they do that as well. You might smell the possums.
But what I'm saying is that seems really simple, but you and I know what happens when you get into nature.
It is transformative. All the people we have to the boardroom in the bush here. And actually we also get them to cook their own lunch. And we dig a fire pit.
Yes.
And so the whole thing of digging the pit and the process, and it's amazing.
We're not designed to live predominantly in closed walls with false fluoro lights, with no real air flow.
And in unnatural fabrics often, and all of it.
Why do we love a weekend when we go to the beach?
Yeah.
Why do we do a picnic somewhere, or we get outside and have a barbecue, or we go to the park?
Yeah.
Or we go on a holiday and we're outdoors experiencing the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Even as soon as we lit a fire today, it was like the smell of that smoke and in the gum and
the sound of the crackling.
Straight away, it's like,
right. So the fruit salad of choice, offering someone choice. Now, I've been living this way for years. So I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do my meditation, and I'm going to go for a walk, and I'm going to journal, and I'm going to do my gratitudes. And, all of that sounds a lot, but it's not, because while I'm walking, I'm doing gratitude, right? So when I'm in the shower, I'm setting the tone for my mind and for the state for the day, and I'm breathing. So I'm consciously breathing, because most leaders are busy,
very shallow breathing.
They're very shallow breathing.
And in the head, disconnected from the body altogether.
So
I know, because I've been there.
Yeah, we make it simple, but all of that simplicity is easy for me, because I've been training and doing this since I was
practicing
25,
it.
Right?
Yeah.
But when someone's starting off, just do this one thing, or just do these two things, and see how that change goes. Right?
A conscious breath a few times a day.
Conscious breath, or there's a heart intelligence breathing technique that I give and you can be in the middle of a business meeting. No one knows what you're doing. Right. It's like something that's really simple that you can do in amongst your busy day.
Could we do that now?
The heart intelligence breathing?
Yeah. Would you like to hear that? Yeah. Shall we do that? Yeah.
And I know when I was in...
we have a very loud dog.
So I know, real life. This
is real. This is beside leaders.
And I know that when I had an incredibly busy role at one point, and I was managing 50 plus people, 7 locations. No one really wanted me there. I hadn't come from that background, and people had gone for that position that didn't get it.
And you're managing them then.
In comes the blonde, with this. I didn't have a background in that. And it was a very stressful role,
Mm-hmm.
and there was someone well above me, not my manager, but a manager above, that had taken a dislike to me.
Ooh.
So
I'm sure people can relate to that.
Yeah. The word starts with B and ends with Y.
Oh.
Right. So I had to keep myself regulated for me to continue to do my job and to get
lead
good results,
and do your thing.
to lead. Absolutely. And rather than let that affect me, right, and put me into permanent stress, because there were moments that, yes, stressful, but to keep coming back to. And this was one of them. So you put your hand on your chest and you just put a little bit of pressure so it brings your awareness to the chest, right? So I'll tell you how we do it first, and then I'll tell you exactly what it's doing.
Okay.
Right. And then you can breathe in for 4.
And so if you're following along, if you're driving a car, maybe.
Don't do it while you're driving.
But anywhere else, all good.
And you just take in 4 breaths, and then you hold those 4 breaths, and then you just release those 4 breaths.
Okay.
Right. If you want to, right, you can breathe in 4 words.
Oh, okay.
So people that start to get anxious because of the pressures, and they start to go, I'm getting anxiety. I just say, you're saying the words and you don't say them out loud. You just breathe them in your mind. You're just saying, I am now calm, or I am now here, right? Something that you feel connected to. So you're breathing that in, you're holding those 4 words, so you're saying them again as you hold the breath, and as you breathe out, you're saying those 4 words. Okay. And you just create a cycle of that, right? It works very fast. So what you're doing, instantly, you're bringing your energy, your presence into the now moment. You hear all the people say, just be in the now moment.
Mabari obviously felt that you're now calm. For anyone listening on audio, the puppies.
Dogs know.
Dogs keep jumping up on the lap.
We've just put ourselves into a coherent state.
Coherent.
Right? So you're actually
I am now calm.
very connecting with the body, but you're bringing your awareness into the present moment. Because while you're doing that, you're focused on the breath, you're focused on the words. You're not focused on what's just happened or what's about to happen. So doing that, you're also calming the nervous system, right? Doing that, you're also connecting into the intelligence of the heart that's in, like the brain that's in the heart, right? That sends more signals to the brain itself. Yeah. So again, it's that connected coherence. You're also then attuning more deeply into that inner voice of knowing.
I like that.
Right? So sometimes it's 3 or 4 cycles of doing that. If you actually do that for 3 minutes or more, you are actually feeding whatever those thoughts are, those words, you're feeding into your subconscious. Okay. But you don't, that's only if you do it 3 minutes.
As in that I am now calm.
I am now calm.
I am now here.
You're feeding that into that subconscious state, right? So which is like a reprogramming, right? Around beliefs around calm.
I have an inner knowing given that?
Look, when I'm meditating, it's like I sit with knowing. Before I go on stage and do a talk, or anywhere that I'm doing a talk, I speak with wisdom. Oh, nice. Right. So whatever the 4 words are, it doesn't matter. If I'm challenged in life by someone or something in life,
never.
Someone else,
surely, come on.
When I'm pointing the finger at somebody, I recognize the 3 coming back in me. So I start working with love, compassion, understanding, forgiveness. Right.
Which is a bit like the Ho'oponopono.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes,
very similar.
Yes. But the thing is, I choose to align with love, and from love comes compassion. From compassion means I've got the ability to come into understanding. Right. And from understanding, when you've done that cycle, you naturally come to a level of forgiveness.
And I love that, because a lot of the leaders that we see in workplaces, often what's required almost is a compassionate heart.
Absolutely.
And a bit more empathy. But for many leaders who are deeply stressed and chronically stressed, it's really hard to access empathy.
Yeah.
When you're brittle or frayed yourself. And even just in sitting there while we were talking, having my hand there, feeling the warmth and the pressure, like already there was something soothing even about that.
I was in a very tough meeting once. And we all feel when you live in some aligned, coherent state for long enough. So if you have even an hour in it, we all feel when something jarring is starting to happen, when the irritation is coming, the annoyance, the agitation. We all know.
Yes.
Like we all feel it. So in that moment, right, I just put my hand there and I was like, I'm just breathing. No one knows. Occasionally I'd do that because I wear a chain. So they just think, oh, she's just
fiddling with a chain.
And that was enough.
Right.
If I didn't feel that I wanted to breathe, I'd just at least
a little reminder.
Part of the process.
To your body, here we are.
Because I'm signaling. If I've done the breathing enough, I'm basically then when I just do that, I'm signaling. I'm signaling to my body and I'm signaling to my brain.
So you could see how that would be really powerful for children to learn too.
Yeah.
Or teens that are studying, anyone who's under a load.
Yes. And that you're bringing yourself into the present moment, right? So you're calming the nervous system, which means that you're creating that heart-brain coherence, that alignment, whatever language you like to use.
Yes.
Right? And when we do that, we're able to feel our way through a situation intuitively with that knowing, if you like, that inspiration comes.
Yeah.
We think with more clarity. When we're dysregulated, when we're disconnected, when we're fragmented, our thinking goes static.
There's a lot of research, isn't there? I've seen a lot from Dr. Joe Dispenza and the Heart Math Institute around when we have that heart-brain coherence, that different parts of the brain light up and we actually have more ability cognitively to make decisions, to process, to have clarity and all those sorts of things.
You become more proactive rather than the reactive.
Right.
And that's when we feel our sense of power, because true power doesn't come from how we can force other people to do things or force results that we want. The true power is when we actually feel that calmness and that clarity inside of ourselves, and suddenly you go, you know what, I didn't think of it before. We could do this.
Something just dropped in.
That aha moment, penny dropped. And then also what you're doing is you're influencing the other people around.
Right.
Now, what happened in this particular meeting is it actually really annoyed this person.
Right.
Who had deliberately created a restructure to move me on. And they sat in a position of, he sat in my boardroom, sat at the head of the table. HR was off to one side, right?
Power position.
I knew what was coming, and I felt that angst, right?
Yeah.
So I did this practice driving when I was driving into the
knowing
it
was coming.
I sat there and I actually did that practice, and I stayed. I am now calm. I am at peace. I sit with power, right? And I walked into my boardroom and I opened the door, and I don't know how I knew to do this. Well, I do, but I just walked in, I read the room, and I sat next to the head of HR at the head of the table on the opposite side.
Right.
So the person who was
wanting to squeeze you out,
he had to move and lose his position of power.
Right.
Had I walked in the state of
anxiety,
that choice would never have been made.
Right.
I walked in, I read the room, and my knowing was like, sit there.
Sit there.
And then I watched him move and I went, like watching a chess game.
Wow. Yes.
I didn't know the power move that I had made.
Right.
But because I kept myself connected.
And aligned.
Yeah. And then the way that I spoke.
Right.
The questions that I put out there.
Were centered.
Right, were centered.
Grounded.
Were strong. he was getting more irritated because
oh dear,
that person thinks they've got the power,
the upper hand or whatever,
but they're working with a manipulative energy.
And wouldn't that be their strategizing from the mind,
They're
as opposed to you've
from the
come
mind.
into the whole body?
Perfect example. He's just coming from here, coming from here, coming from here.
Yeah. Can I be clever in this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was actually dysregulated, because anyone that's purely coming from a malice point of view, right. is only in the mind. And I disrupted his agenda.
Right, and he wouldn't have such strong roots, so probably easier to wobble someone like that.
Yes. Yep. And so at the end of it, he was completely irritated, angered, annoyed.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Head of HR at one point told him to shut up. Right? Because I had come in strong. Think of the tree outside with the roots nice and deep, and you know, the big storm comes.
Yeah.
I wasn't going anywhere.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to let someone do that to me. But I had to prepare myself.
Yeah.
Right? And I only had moments from the drive, but I took that moment to do what I've just shared.
Which anyone could do.
Anyone can do.
In any
And then
moment.
I just took the moment of I stayed. And I was nervous until I opened that door.
Right.
And it
dropped in.
Clicked. Just dropped in.
And do you think that dropped in because of your practice and in the past? You know, like I'm thinking about someone hearing that and wanting to apply it straight away. You know, do you think it's because of who you are and what you've been doing that you were able to utilize that?
Yeah, I've become disciplined. It's like going to the gym. I'm not going to build my strength in one session.
Right.
But would I have, if I'd never done it before, would I have entered and been calm? Yes. Okay. But then I probably would have allowed the other to. So we've got to build these practices, like going to the gym. If I go to the gym once, I'm not coming out strong.
I'm not looking like Hulk Hogan in one session.
Yeah. But that's something easy to practice every day.
Absolutely. And powerful.
Yeah. So when I have people join my 12-week program, I teach that early on.
Right.
And it's like, do it every day. And no one can say, I haven't got the time.
Yeah, you could do that while you're making a cup of tea in the morning.
You can do that when you're making a cup of tea. You can do that when you're in the shower, getting ready. And you don't have to do it for the 3 to 4 minutes. I'm just saying, if you do it for 3 minutes or more, you can do that in bed at night. And I've never had someone say that doesn't work.
Right.
Because instantly you go, even if no one's ever done it before, they go, oh yeah, I feel that. But build that muscle.
Where it's like, oh, I recognize, here we are.
Yes. So when I do it, I've been doing it for years, right? So it doesn't stop me from getting hit with that heavy energy.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I made the choice, the conscious choice, because I understand now what's happening here, right? In terms of dysregulation and you know, I'm being impacted by someone else's energy. I don't like to be controlled. Do you? Right. So I don't want to be controlled by someone else.
Yeah.
So when I see it like that, the Aries in me goes, I'm not going to be controlled by this situation. I'm not going to be controlled by them.
Yeah.
The only thing I can really control is myself.
Is me. Yeah.
By my choices, right? And how I choose to respond. And if I want to respond from a place of power, then I must put myself into that state of empowered.
So I want to take us on a little bit of a slightly different trajectory, because I don't want to wrap up without going here as well. Given your shaman background and that knowing, you mentioned you've done training. Would love to know, how does one go about polishing the sword and training in, you know, shamanic work? And the second question of that is then, once you have some of those tools, how do you find walking through life and the world? Because you can read energy and sense energy, and I'm sure like airports and shopping centers and all of that, where there's lots of people, and workplaces. Like a lot of people are in workplaces where there's a whole heap of egos and energies and agendas.
Yeah.
How do you then manage you yourself when there's all of that? So first, kind of the training, and then second, how do you manage yourself?
Okay. This is going to surprise some people because my training has been by looking outwardly when I came to understand and made sense of myself when I was told that I'm shaman. So I went out looking for mentors, and I got bullied, right? And it was the best thing that could have happened, because I had to keep coming back and listening to that knowing, that teacher, that educator. And so I've been really trained through life.
Yeah.
And then applying what my knowing is saying.
Right.
Right.
So every day is a lesson.
Every day. I'm always in training.
Right.
Always in training. Because we go through lessons in life, but when we become aware, then we also go through initiation processes, like the ancients, right? Like the Indigenous have initiation processes.
Absolutely.
And I've come to recognise what that is, and then rites of passage, which is different from just everyday challenges and adversity and
significant thresholds.
So recognising there are certain areas of my life at one point where I really hated myself, where I felt angry.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, that knowing would say, well, you keep thinking that, you're going to keep living that.
Right.
So trained through life and experiences and application, right? But I interviewed a beautiful woman once on my podcast, and she's done a lot of studies and stuff, and she said that, Kaye, once upon a time, all the Indigenous people had the wisdom keeper that was taught directly by their connection.
Right.
It's just that these days we don't appreciate that because we don't understand it.
Right.
Right.
And because we get stuck in a university mode or whatever it is, I've got to go and read from a book.
Yeah, mine was something I'm born with, and then learning to really trust that.
Amazing.
And then sharing that with others so that they can tap into the wisdom that's inside of them.
And I'm sure through working with clients and seeing results or people's own awareness shifting, you're getting feedback constantly.
And look, to say that, years ago I went and learned Reiki and things like that because I had a lot to say about different modalities. But did I need them? No, because I work very differently.
Yeah.
Anyway, but, and then I was coaching for years. And then someone said, are you qualified? I'm like, well, I'm getting results, but maybe I should go get the piece of paper and make some people, make me more accessible to those that go, we want the piece of paper. So then I did get coaching accreditation and then master coaching. I then went out and got, we were talking about this today, the certificate for
in training and assessment.
We go, that was boring.
That was the most boring training I've ever done.
But I can open up my wallet and go, here, I'm qualified in this. And then I got qualifications in certain things. But I had no one to go to get a qualification of being a shaman. The shaman is born the shaman, or usually named by the master shaman.
The elders or as they're born.
And when I was told that I was shaman in my 20s, the people that put their hand up and go, I want to be shaman, you're not a shaman. I'm sorry. Because again, it was sort of like you feel the responsibility of that, right? And I felt the responsibility of that. And it's taken years for me to be in complete surrender and 100% trust of what I know.
Yeah, and own that.
And own that.
And be there.
Yes. And the respect for what I'm doing when I'm working with somebody and I know what's going on inside of them that they're not even yet aware of what's going on, right? And the people that work with me are usually drawn to me.
I was going to say that people that work with you probably don't want to know if you've got a certificate.
They don't.
Yeah.
And
right. They would have a knowing, I'm sure, as well.
And so many of them go, I don't really know what you
do,
Kaye, but I knew I had to work with you.
Right. And I'm feeling different now.
That's their knowing, right? I don't know what it is, but, or someone has worked with me.
And referred.
And they've gone, AJ walked in the door and I looked in her eyes and I went,
she's different. Yeah.
What have you
happened?
done? What's happened? And they are, well, I've been working with Kaye, right? And sometimes one session and they're like, okay, so I want to go.
Right.
So again, they'll go,
I'll have
what
does Kaye do?
I'll go, what does Kaye do? It's very hard to put
very
into
hard
words.
to describe.
What people say is you've got to experience Kaye to get a sense of it. They still can't explain what I do.
I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where that deep sense of trust comes in. So I really respect and honour that. And you would be the same because, I mean, you've worked in corporate, you've been at high levels and you've got all of that understanding. But look at what you incorporate and bring into it now, because the world is calling
absolutely
for the other half to come back into a whole.
Yes.
That's the only way I can say it, the other half to come back into a whole.
Totally.
And so that everybody can be a leader of their own life. But predominantly, I'm choosing to also work with these, and predominantly women who are entrepreneurs and wanting to make a difference, or those, you know, like I've got clients that have their own law firm and things like that as well. But knowing that they can't sustain the way that they're doing things or the way that things are done. And they're being also heavily affected by staff going, this is really irritating me. And it's like, no, hold on a moment. You're supposed to be the influence to them.
Setting the tone.
And then the ripple effect happens. You're working with them from a professional perspective, but their lives are changing. Because as we said at the beginning, you know,
take your whole self to work.
We're in the business of life, not just the life of business.
Yes.
And that you can't separate it. It's just like for me, you can't separate the shaman from the leadership coach. You can't separate the shaman from who Kaye is and how Kaye is. You can't separate the shaman from the wife, the mother, do you know what I mean?
Like you can't separate your nationality or something.
You can't separate your nationality.
It's who I am.
This is who I am. Yeah.
And so coming back to the energy of how you manage that yourself.
Yes. So I would have been what most people would term an empath. I would say an extreme empath or an extreme sensitive, right? I don't like the word empath because people have a belief system built around that.
Right.
How many empaths have you heard going, well, I can't go here and I can't be with those people and I can't, and I feel like saying,
and it's a bit of a label.
Did Jesus or Buddha or any of these people say, well, I can't work with you.
I can't help that population.
I can't walk there and amongst those people because I'm too sensitive.
Right.
So I started to sit because I'm a deep questioner. I drove my mother crazy as a kid. I was inquisitive about everything, about life, about when we went to church, I'd drive the guy crazy, you know, at the end of, because I'd want to ask questions. And not just about God, about everything. Right? Everything. Until my mother would go, for God's sake, Kate, just go
leave it alone.
She was great for a while, but I dig deeper. I want to dig deeper. So I applied that to myself with the, you know, because I would be thinking other people's thoughts. I didn't realize for a while that
you were picking up and live streaming someone else. My Wi-Fi's too bright.
Yeah, their energy and physically their pain, right? So I'd go, well, this doesn't seem right, that I'm burdened by other people. So again, in meditation and stuff, it's like, right, I've asked my inner voice of knowing, what do I do to keep myself clear? Because I'm thinking logically, because logic has a place. I'm thinking we're told to drink water, to hydrate and care for the body. We're told to eat, you know, good food.
Clean food.
To nourish and feed the body. We're told to wash our bodies to keep them clean, right? You know, sunblock if you want to, you know, or wear a cap or whatever. We're taught how to look after ourselves, but we're not taught how to look after ourselves as energetic beings.
Spiritual hygiene.
Yeah. So then I was shown a particular way or told a particular way the knowing just came. So I started working with it, because I'm the sort of person that someone can tell me something and go, I'm gonna apply that. I'm gonna see if that's true for me.
Right. And then see how it sits.
And see, does this work? I'm just not going to take it blindly. I'm going to go, I might have a sense. I was told once when I learned to meditate years ago, because I had a major car accident and I was in pain. My mother's, for God's sake, you're stressed all the time, go learn to meditate. Well, I'm stressed all the time because I was in pain. So it was in my path to go see this, the Raj Meditation Centre, where they taught you to meditate with your eyes open.
Yes.
But they talked about the effects of red meat on the body and the deposits and increased pain. And I'm like, I'm going to try not eating red meat.
Right.
Right? And then I felt better not eating the red meat.
Wow.
I do eat it now because my body craved it after menopause.
Okay.
Right? But not a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm listening to my body.
Yeah, tuning in.
And I went, well, I don't know if it's true. The only way I'll know is if I try.
If I test it. Yeah.
Right. So the same thing with learning to disconnect energetic cords. Right? And a particular cleansing process, I got a sense of what my own energy felt like. Then I would feel the encroach of other energies.
That's cool.
And then sometimes it would plug in, and sometimes I would feel so calm and I would come down, and then my husband would look calm, even my first husband, and then I'd feel irritated. And then I go, right, I'm going to do that process. And then it would drop away for me and I'd go, belongs to him.
So you're experimenting.
I was experimenting. And then I learned that when I didn't do that process, the shifts that would happen in me, or that I wouldn't sleep as well.
Right.
Right. So you can imagine science has now said we're in each other's
each other's,
right. And how many people's field do you cross when you go through the shopping centre?
So there's a lot of bleeding happening.
The field can happen from someone who's thinking about you, either with love or with malice.
Anywhere in the world.
Because the energy knows no distance, right? So I sort of say to people now, well, how many people are you taking to bed with you? Look at how many people have sleep problems. They fall asleep from exhaustion.
Yourself before?
Yeah. If you fall asleep because you're exhausted, and then people going, I wake at 2:30 and I can't get back to sleep. And my thoughts and right? So if we do this process and clean and clear ourselves, then we get to know what our energy feels like.
Which is so powerful when you think about the Indigenous cultures, and what we just did when you arrived here was do a smoking and gum leaves to cleanse you.
And the tingling and the shift that I felt physically when you did that, because I've been in the city
2
days and
around a lot of people
in fluoro lights and closed walls and no fresh hair coming in, which for me is not my place of belonging.
Yeah, me
I can deal with it, but then I have to deal with it. Afterwards. Right. So I need to then find a tree to connect, and just even to see it does wonders for me. So that was...
It shows you their wisdom, though, that for years they knew, change of state, cleanse, new person in the tribe, cleanse.
You look at religions, right, and in church. Every single religion has a smoking element to it.
Yeah, they do.
Right? The Catholic Church have the... I don't know what they call it.
The thing that they walk around and wave.
It's all frankincense and the things that we now know
are like smudging almost.
Is smudging, right?
A sage stick.
Every single religion has some form of ceremonial smudging.
And even when you think about Christianity, where people do the sign of a cross, even that in a way is putting up a barrier or a cleanse. Like
it's the 4 directions, for goodness sake.
It's all of
do you know what I mean?
that. There is a lot of ritual in that memory in the body.
Yeah, well, ritual's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
The power of it.
That'll be session 2.
Yeah, but I taught years ago, I ran a group, I was asked to run a group for these teenage boys and girls. They're now fully fledged grown adults and children, and I was teaching them, and I always teach and say, don't take my word for it. Right?
Go and experiment.
Go out and experiment. So when you're walking through the shopping centre and someone's irritating you, and start cutting cords, and you know, maybe about 3 years ago, I had one of those teenagers who's now, he's probably close to his 40s.
Yeah, right.
Message me saying, Kaye, came across me on Instagram and said, Kaye, I've just got to tell you, I stopped doing that process and I'm doing it again. It works.
Wow, that's so cool.
It works. And they all said that. They were all about 15 and 16.
Right.
Back then, they would come back to group and they go, it works. Not one of them said, didn't make a difference.
Well, it's even like when you walk around the city, at least if you just smile at people and it can change state, change the mood, and then suddenly doors are open for you. People are trying to help and all of those sorts of things.
Yeah. So coming back to the leadership, this is what we're wanting to do with leaders, to educate them about this and their influence they have on themselves that then they have on their teams.
So that importance of their physical hygiene, but also their spiritual hygiene. And I think a lot of people think there's no place for spirituality in work, but it's not religion we're talking about. You know, spiritual hygiene is your soul and who you are and how you show up and your energy.
It's the internal care of self, right? So we, as above, so below, right? Sky and earth, the internal of the body, the external of the body. So isn't it logical that we have, you know, that internal care of self, and then we have the external care of self, the bath, the massage, the, you know, but that internal care as well. And now that science is catching up to ancient wisdom, right? Because everyone's now, oh my God, science, and science is now saying, and
the gaps,
and the likes of us are like, well,
it's
been around for a long time.
It's been around for a while. Thousands of years.
But I love the fact that science is now catching up because it opens the door to people that have once been close to it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to end.
Yes.
You mentioned something earlier around the world is calling for things to come back to the whole. And I really felt the energy from that when you said that. Can you share with us a bit of your hope for the future and what you see happening? And what's your hope for the future?
I'm so impassioned by what I know is my calling. And because back in the day I would witness people being elevated or elevating themselves and diminishing others to sort of lead, be mentors, and then people diminishing themselves and elevating others. And I'm like, no, we're meant to be here holding hands, cheering each other on. And I recognize the power and the soulfulness in you because I see it exist in me. And now more than ever, because we're seeing that the ways that we've done things and the things that we've believed in, the stories we've lived from,
absolutely,
you know, strive more, achieve more, like it's not working. It's not working. Look at increases in anxiety and, you know, depression, and, you know, people having breakdowns and leaders hospitalized or, you know, retiring early because of how this is functioning. So the world is reflecting back to us what we're all calling for from within ourselves. But more than that, we need to find this so we can be like the trees on this land, where the root system is embedded down deep and vast, so we can stand firm in the storms. And so that we can become part of the beauty of what is beautiful in this world. Because if we only focus on the negatives, on what's not working, we feed it. Energy goes where your focus flows, right? So I'm aware of what's taking place on one part of the, the playing field.
You're seeing it out.
And I'm going, yeah, okay. But I'm not going to feed that. So I'm going to stay firm to what I bring to my own life, to what I know is the power that exists within me to be of influence. And I'm going to hang out with those that seek the same. And there is no greater joy for me than working with others and seeing them come into their power and making changes not only in their own lives, but in the influence around them, whether that be personally or professionally, and going, this is the world I'm feeding. Native Americans used to talk about, we have the two wolves,
the wolves that you
the
feed.
white wolf and the dark wolf. Well, which one are we going to feed? I'm choosing the white wolf, and I'm aware of the black wolf.
Right.
I'm not going to be afraid of it.
You're not Pollyanna about it's not there.
No, I'm aware that it's there, right? But I'm not going to fear it, but I'm also not going to fuel it, right? It's there for a reason. And I have a saying that I can't see around corners. The creator, source, God, whatever, universe, whatever you want to call it, sees the whole picture. So I'm just going to stay attuned to that inner voice of knowing, and I'm going to choose a coherent state so that I, as the leader that I am, and within my life, within my business, send out that ripple effect. I'm going to be a pebble. I
love that. And I love that means I don't need to also carry the burden of being source creator and knowing all, but that if I'm in alignment, I can just take the next step.
There's the mystery.
Like,
there's challenges and adversity in life, but when you align with this and bring that inner knowing and the unseen, and you bring it into harmony with the other, then there's mystery. Then there's a bit of magic.
Yeah.
Then there's the synchronicity.
We love the magic.
The unfolding. And then that softens the tough stuff. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's just listening on audio, I don't know, you'll wish you could see Kaye's eyes. They're spectacular and they're sparkling as she's saying that. So I so see that you see that vision of the future, and I want to say thank you for sharing so openly with us your gifts. I'm so grateful that the young girl chose to honor that, and not let it get squashed. And we're ever so grateful for your presence and for your sharing some techniques and things that we can do. And I hope this has inspired all of you who are leaders, or anyone who is walking beside leaders, that it is about this. It is about side by side walking together, and that we can't do it all alone. We're communal and we're tribal, and we do need to connect and support each other, and also have 100% responsibility for our own journey and where we're going.
So powerfully said. And, ultimately the soul is calling through us all.
Yeah.
And it's just, are we going to push back, or are we going to recognize it and go, I need to learn, I need to let go of some resistance.
Right.
I need to let go of some of the things that I know, I think I know, right? And be willing to not know it all, and be willing to allow the moments of discomfort, of change. Yeah.
So may you all lean in to your discomfort and change process, and may you also embrace, with a twinkle in your eye, the joy on the other side. Kaye, how can people find you, and why would they want to come and play? They might be feeling an inkling already.
Yeah. They can find me if they go to my website, kayedoran.com, kayedoran.com. You can find me on all the social medias, but if you go straight to my website, every link possible, or even a contact to me, is there. And I'm an incredibly approachable person. So you don't have to reach out to say, I want to work with you. You might just reach out and say, get a feel for what it might look like to work with me. But AJ, thank you for having me on.
My pleasure.
And for being another ripple in the pond.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're all, our little circles are bumping into each other. And I think you also have your own podcast, which is...
I do, The Inner Voice of Knowing. And there's an amazing episode recently that AJ was on.
So please head over on all of the different platforms where you listen to your poddies. Please go and listen to The Inner Voice of Knowing. it landed even more for me today, hearing about how you call that the voice of knowing. So there's a great depth and amazing interviews on Kaye's podcast, as well as you sharing some of your work. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.